National Testing Service India, popularly known as NTSI, is one of the major schemes of the Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. The objective of the NTS is to create a centralized mechanism on quality control in education. It involves the process of evolving regional and national norms, which would in turn facilitate the common reference point in terms of standards and benchmarks. The magnitude of the work involved in this will have to be seen in the light of the number of courses available, number of teachers available, and also the number of students available in the country. So in this background, we are trying to make use of various approaches to reach the people. So one of the approaches that we are trying to adopt is the production of documentary films. All the tests that are conducted across the globe have been collected, consolidated and analyzed by the NTS with reference to their purposes. It was concluded that all these tests can be classified into the three broad categories, one each on aptitude test for admission purposes, achievement test for certification purposes, and proficiency test for employment purposes. Apart from these three documentary films, which are highly specialized in nature, there is also another general evaluation documentary meant for the common people who could get some basic ideas about not only the National Testing Service but also certain areas of testing and evaluation.
India is one of the fastest growing economies of the world. Economic growth leads to expansion of infrastructure, industry, and government spending. This in turn leads to demand for quality human resources. India, with more than 100 crore people, has a network of about 25 lakh schools under 34 boards and 25,000 colleges under 450 universities of different types. Over 5 million teachers and around 50 million learners cover hundreds of disciplines. The educational institutions of our country are conducting a variety of tests and examinations. These are known as the terminal test or achievement test.
Achievement in the education context refers to the progress made between the entry level and end level of the process of education. It is target based, also with reference to the syllabus and with reference to the textbook wherever available. At the formative stage, the achievement is used for the diagnostic purposes, and at the terminal level, achievement is used for the purpose of certification. It is also referred to as change in behavior. because the process of education is defined as the action or process intended to mold the children in the desired direction. So it is obvious that the achievement is always with reference to that process.
The Oxford Dictionary defines achievement as to achieve or to accomplish by effort, skill, or courage. There is a clear indication of accomplishing a predetermined target.
Tom lay thinking. Presently it occurred to him that he wished he was sick. Then he could stay at home from school. Here was a vague possibility. He canvassed his system. No ailment was
In
found,
general
and he
terms,
investigated again.
achievement is
This time,
successful
he thought he could
attainment
detect
of
some
some goal
bodily symptoms,
by
and he
applying
began
a
to
certain
encourage
effort.
them with considerable
Please make sentence with the word occurred. The girls will go for it first and the boys will go for it next. Whoever answer is better will get the marks. Okay? The word is occurred. Adishta.
The incident occurred suddenly that we had no time to think about its remedy.
Seeing the last day's ODI, it occurred to me that Team India's batting skills are completely destroyed.
Which answer do you think is better?
Achievement is progress that a learner makes in learning. It is a measure of difference between entry point and end point.
Now we have a totally new concept of the formation of Himalayas. We have plate tectonic theory.
In education, achievement refers to the mastery of what has been taught or what has been learnt or what is in the syllabus, textbook, materials, etc. Usually, a target is fixed in terms of objectives, and when it is reached, it is called achievement.
And that was the geosyncline theory which suggested that from the bed of the Tethys only the Himalayas were uplifted.
The term achievement is used synonymously by the term accomplishment, sometime attainment, and if you go deeper at the conceptual level, achievement is considered to be the extent of subject matter covered in a prescribed time. But NTS has a different and broader perspectives on the achievement.
Achievement, as perceived by NTS, is the extent of learning of the material presented in a particular course or program of instruction, as well as the development of the personality of the learner in the desired direction and its utility in fulfilling societal needs. The test by which this extent of learning and personality development and its relevance is tested is called the achievement test.
Change of state of a matter. We usually see three states of matter: solid, liquid and gas. Can you name a substance?
This is water.
Water.
Learning achievement is usually reported either with reference to other students of the same class or with reference to a particular learning material or standard.
The achievement is made in the vertical, we call it as vertical progression: primary, upper primary, high school, higher secondary, graduate, postgraduate and research. The another is horizontal dimensions. First, a person acquires or learns the subject matter. As a result of mastering the subject matter, his personality gets developed. The development of personality is put into use in the society for the purpose of fulfilling the societal needs. So that part is also taking place horizontally. So the development takes place at a time both vertical and horizontal. So both we are calling as dimensions of education. Achievement is comprehensive and whatever the progress taking place in the process of education, all will come under achievement. So it involves the quantum of subject matter taught and learned, and also the quantum of growth developed by the person. It also the quantum of impact that is created on the society in terms of fulfilling the societal needs. So all will come under the achievement. But the aptitude refers to the person, and it is part of a personality. And the personality involves the thinking, feeling and action all put together is personality. This aptitude, what we mean here is referring only to the mental process. We call it as thinking process. People call it sometimes as competence, sometimes as ability, sometimes cognitive process, sometimes even intelligence. So there are various terminologies, all are synonymously used. So all refer to the aptitude. The third one is proficiency. Again, that refers only to the person, because it refers to the skill which is required to perform a job in a perfect way. Here both aptitude and proficiency you can see referring to only the human being or a part of the personality, whereas achievement involves all put together, subject matter, the personality, beyond the personality also the societal needs.
All the tests available in the world are classified in 3 broad categories, each with a definite purpose and objective. As it is evident that all the 3 purposes are entirely different from each other, it is obvious that these tests should be qualitatively different from one another in terms of their contents and methods. Unfortunately, this is not available in all cases. After analyzing the tests practiced in our country, overlapping qualities were observed, especially in the aptitude and proficiency tests. For example, the same type of questions meant for measuring verbal and non-verbal abilities are asked in both the cases. In aptitude tests, one can find a majority of question items testing reasoning ability only. The questions related to measure attainment of transmission of quantum of subject matter are also asked in aptitude tests for admission, as if it is an achievement test for certification. In the so-called achievement tests, one can seldom find a question attempting to measure the emotional quality or psychomotor ability of the students. The emphasis is only and only on the assessment of the subject matter learnt, and not on its consequential effects and their usefulness in the social context. In this backdrop, it was realized that most of these tests are constructed without properly understanding these concepts and the purposes behind them.
The process of education has been created or initiated with a definite goal and purpose. So it becomes necessary after certain amount of time, it becomes necessary to check whether the intended purpose has been achieved, or the goal for the fulfillment of which the education process has been started is really been achieved. So for that purpose, the achievement becomes very important. Unless and until the achievement is checked or cross-checked or verified, then the further planning becomes very difficult, and we also may not be able to understand whether we are in the right direction or not.
National Testing Service India has accepted the challenge. After rigorous research and consistent work, the Research and Development Group of NTS has tried to identify, classify, and categorize the major and minor components as well as the subcomponents of the concepts of aptitude, achievement, and proficiency. they are totally distinct from each other. NTS paves the way for developing these tests as qualitatively different from one another.
The assessment test, the admission test, the proficiency test, sometimes it is said that the questions are same types on certain topics in all these three kinds of tests. But one reason is that the nature of question which you would set either in board exam or in this kind of aptitude test will depend on the objective of the test. Even in board exam, what is the objective of a question? What do you want to test? That may coincide with the objective of an aptitude test. Because in the board exam also sometimes we want to test the particular proficiency or aptitude of a student by setting a bit difficult questions.
The main components of the concept of achievement are subject matter, individuals or learners' growth, and societal needs.
The subject matter is one of the components of education. And as a result of mastering the subject matter, the person's personality gets developed. That is another component. As a result of the personality development, the societal needs are getting fulfilled. That is another component.
Subject matter refers to the object of learning, such as language, literature, mathematics, history, geography, and so on. It is also called teaching or learning inputs or contents. Any subject can have some components: origin, development, constituents, functions, and usages.
The role of literature in our lives is to understand the finer nuances of human sensibility and expression. Literature encompasses all that is very sublime and subtle, all that is very beautiful and subtle in our lives, as well as the morbid and macabre. That is why we have different types of characters.
Origin refers to the beginning or starting of any subject. It is known as history or background of the subject from which it was emerged, such as history of literature, starting of mathematics, etc. In the Indian context, we try to find out the origin of almost all the subjects in the Vedas.
Yes, any literature has an antecedent, it has a past, it has originated from somewhere. It has not come by itself. That is the origin of a subject. The origin of a subject refers to its beginning, its starting, from where it all began.
Bio means life and logos means study. So biology or life science, it's a science of life. It's a natural science concerned with the study of life and living organisms, including their structure, function, growth, origin, evolution, distribution, and taxonomy.
Development means the gradual growth of any subject which leads to its final shaping as a full-fledged discipline. For example, biology.
The development of this subject, biology, actually when we are talking about development of this subject, we'll see gradually how it has taken shape, by its development, and then it has given rise to various branches. The most important branches are botany and zoology.
You can look at the beautiful house.
Constituents refer to the parts of the subject matter which, combined together, constitute the concept of the particular discipline. For example, phonology, morphology, syntax, and semantics are the constituents of language as a subject. In the same way, heat, light, sound, electricity, magnetism or gravity, etc., are the constituents of physics as a subject. Function denotes the purpose or reason for which a subject survives in the curriculum. For example, astronomy as a subject helps to understand the movement of the planets and their satellites in the solar system and beyond. Or the purpose of sociology as a subject is to understand the structure of human society. Usages stands for the ways in which the knowledge gained through the subject are put into practice.
Usage and the ways in which the knowledge gained through the subject are put into practice. For example, linguistics as a subject used to understand the tradition, culture, literature and mental structure of the people.
What is a chemical?
Or the knowledge of chemistry can be used to build weapons of mass destruction.
The knowledge of chemistry can be used to build weapons of mass destruction. Uses may be of positive and negative, and it depends upon the intention of the users.
The individual's or learner's growth refers to the growth of personality of a student in a desired direction. The human personality is divided into 3 domains: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains. Cognitive is related to the process of thinking.
It includes the scholastic and intellectual aspect of human behavior, such as knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation.
Affective is connected with the feeling process of human personality. It is known as the non-scholastic aspects of personality.
Examples such as emotion, expectation, prejudices, likes and dislikes.
It has 5 subcategories: receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterizing.
And next move to the third one, that is the last one, that is psychomotor domain. Psychomotor domain is mainly related with the action part of human behavior, such as imitation, manipulation, articulation, precision and naturalization.
These are basically the stages of the process of learning towards attaining perfection.
Not only we should study or assess the scholastic aspects of education, but also we should put emphasis on non-scholastic areas. In fact, there are many boards and councils across the country which have started the idea of implementing this scheme. It is called continuous and comprehensive evaluation. But at the higher secondary level, given the vastness of the curriculum and the syllabi, it is very difficult to put in the non-scholastic areas within the school framework at the higher secondary level.
A society may be defined as a changing pattern of reciprocal relationships interacting upon each other and enabling each other to achieve the fulfillment of life. And by this term, societal needs, we mean the basic or the major demands of society. What could be the ultimate aim of education? The ultimate aim of education is to develop a person's personality in such a way so that knowledge acquired or skill obtained may be useful for the masses. So, being the vital members of society, it is the primary duty to contribute for the overall development of mankind as well as for the enrichment of society.
Societal needs are productivity, integration, modernization, and cultivating spirituality. Productivity may be in cultivation of fruits or crops, or in manufacturing something using some raw material. Productivity is the quality or state of being productive or fertile. Integration is the act of unification or state of being unified as an individual, as a society, or a nation. Modernization is being in accord with the recent times or current fashions in thoughts or things. It is the process of dispensing with obsolescent ways or ideas.
Spirituality is a philosophical doctrine that states that reality is immaterial in its very nature and existence. According to the Western philosophy, spirituality suggests search or quest for truth. But according to the Indian philosophy, it means realization of the inner self. Okay? So, this doctrine helps us in making distinctions between right and wrong, between true and false, between commitment and involvement and so on. This also puts in us enough of strength so that we can discharge our duties maintaining a natural and impersonal attitude. So, now if we try to follow the views of Indian philosophy, we will definitely be contributing to our society to a greater extent, because we will then be preventing it from all sorts of vices and malpractices.
In all the examinations of the university levels, all of the college levels, students are studying the subjects. In any subject, there are two impacts. One is the subject matters, and another is some social impacts. But what I think, from the subject, the students should give, instead of memorize the knowledge, they should apply the knowledge, which is a related social part, social impact.
All three main components of achievement: subject matter, learner's growth, societal needs, and their minor and subcomponents with their dimensions and associated properties, once understood properly, we will then be able to prepare specific question items to measure them individually. When they are arranged in a test format proportionally, then only will we be in a position to declare the test as a pure and complete achievement test. This achievement test will be qualitatively different from the other two types of tests in terms of its contents, methods, and purposes.
After completion of a prescribed course.
The conceptual framework regarding achievement tests has been developed by National Testing Service India. Initially, NTS India is working in the field of language and literature. This work is content and context free. It is applicable to any discipline or subject of study or training program because components arranged in this framework are universal in nature. This framework can be converted into a full-fledged test by inserting question items prepared with the content inputs of the concerned subject areas. The question items used to measure achievement should be qualitatively different from questions for assessing aptitude of a student. The question item, which attempts to test some inherent or hidden potential in his or her personality, is a perfect question for an aptitude test. Similarly, a question item to test any component of achievement should be framed to measure the level of attainment of a student. For example, analysis as an ability finds place in both aptitude and achievement. But a question item to test analytical ability of one's aptitude should be different for testing it as a level of one's achievement. The same rule is applicable to the different parts of the same test. In an achievement test, the question items prepared for testing subject matter should be different from those assessing learner's growth. Similarly, the question item to test the cognitive or the thinking part of a personality and assessing the affective or feeling part of the personality should be different. The question should be framed to provoke an examinee to reveal his or her emotions and feelings and not his or her knowledge, reasoning and logical thinking.
The achievement of a person is tested by taking these three broad components of education, break them into small components, and each of the component is being tested by developing an appropriate question item. So after testing each of the component and each of the dimensional factors, we assume that the totality of the growth that is taking place in the process of education is tested. We take the subject matter separately and make an in-depth analysis, and we try to identify the major components, minor components, subcomponents. For example, in language, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, etc. Again, we make minor components within phonology, single sounds or cluster sound, etc. Again, within single sounds, what is intonation or what is the duration, etc. So that way we are breaking them, and we are trying to work out the total number of elements that are available and total number of dimensional factors that are available, and that we are adopting a system of sampling, and on the basis of the sampling we are identifying, and very systematically and scientifically we are trying to assess them by getting the numerical values and so on. But this is not happening in the day-to-day tests that are being conducted in many of the institutions. First of all, the evaluation is not properly understood in terms of its definitions and theoretical background. Because in the theory we say that the quantitative analysis plus measurement and qualitative analysis plus measurement. Quantitative analysis goes with the structural elements and qualitative analysis goes with the nature, that is properties associated with that. Both the things are separately assessed and measured, numerical values obtained, and both the numerical values put together, and we try to measure how many are present and how many are absent, on the basis of which the interpretation is done. Finally we pass a value judgment. This kind of highly systematized approach has not been adopted in any of the tests. So what we are suggesting is, the institutions will have to first understand these inherent qualities that are expected to be understood by the teachers, and then try to adopt in the day-to-day process of setting the question items. So this is not happening. So that way we are trying to develop the models which are based on a scientific approach, and that we are trying to adopt, or we are trying to advocate the people or the teachers to adopt them. So that way we are trying to point out the lacuna, and also we are trying to suggest how to fill up that lacuna. So this way that NTS is trying, and that the models developed by the NTS is this way different from what others are doing.
Achievement as perceived by NTS is the sum total of the three factors. 1. Acquisition of maximum quantum of subject matter taught. 2. As a result of this teaching, the level of development of personality in terms of thinking, feeling and action skills. And 3. The usefulness or relevance of these two factors with reference to the needs and demands of contemporary society. This is expected or desired from any system of education or program of study. By and large, the same aims and objectives are prescribed by different taxonomies and highlighted in policy documents of state and central governments.
When the achievement tests are concerned, and whoever is associated with the education system, all are benefited. See, main players in the education system are teachers and students. So teachers get a lot of benefit because they come to know that where they have erred and where they have been very strong, and the students also come to know that where they have erred and where they have been strong. So based on the students' performance, the teachers will correct themselves or improve upon, or that they can satisfy whatever they have done. And similarly, students also will try to understand. So this way that all the individuals that are associated with the education system stand benefited. And the institutions also equally benefited, because the institutions, once the tests are conducted and the results are declared, the institutions always will have some point to claim that they are better than other institutions. That is normally determined on the basis of the test. and here only achievement test is happening in the institutions, so it is quite natural, especially when the centralized test is taking place within the university or within a jurisdiction of the school board. So the question paper remains same. When the achievement rate is high, that naturally the institutions will push to themselves for better accreditation and so on. So that way institutions also get benefited. And finally, society at large, we expect the teaching community and also those who are involved in the planning and implementation of the educational program. So only one point we are requesting them, in fact, that they should try to justify what they are doing in the classroom with reference to the national policy on education, with reference to the taxonomy of educational objectives, that the objectives of education, and also with reference to the societal needs. Anything that is done in the classroom should necessarily fulfill these requirements, because otherwise what is the need for telling that this is the objective of education, this is the objective of education policy, and this is a societal needs. So anything that we do should be related to these three requirements. Once this is understood, I think most of the problems will be solved, and our achievement, aptitude, proficiency, everything will be tested, and that the testing results will be beneficial to the whole country.